Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to week 2 of my Countdown to Christmas series. Last month I had posted a card on my Sunday blog post for this card. I was asked if I could do a video tutorial, so I promised I would, and this is a Christmas version. So when it stands up, you can see it's a inverted W, so it's like an M fold. The stamp set I'm using is Warm and Toasty. This one doesn't have coordinating dies, it's just the stamp set alone. So I had to stamp and fussy cut these images. So for that I used the stamp apparatus so that I can ink and stamp the images all at once. The inks I'm using are Tuxedo Black, Seaside Spray and Night of Navy. Real Red, Crumb Cake, Seaside Spray. I'm only going to be using the darker of the two, and a Real Red Stamp and Write marker, and Petal Pink. To emboss the inside of the card in the Night of Navy, I've used the Winter Snow embossing folder. Gorgeous blue adhesive back gems, 2" by 3.5 piece of balmy blue glimmer paper. So that's 5 centimeters by 8.9 centimeters. The designer series paper I'm using is a returning favourite called Feels Like Frost. These are photographic images. It is photographs on one side, as you can see, of winter scenes, and on the reverse it's silver foiled. There are 12 double-sided designs altogether, and the one we're going to be using is this pattern here. Now, because I wanted to be as economical as I possibly could for the inverted W panel, I needed 4 pieces cut at 3 inches by 3 inches square. So I need the height, but then I can make them narrower to fit into the W piece. This card is actually an A5 size card, half an A4 sheet, but I want to show you how to cut the A4 sheet so that you can also have enough for the W section, which is the bridging unit, to join the front and the back card together. You cut it in half down this way, okay, and then this one is cut in half that way. So that's the front and back of the card. And for the fancy fold bridge, which is the inverted W, that's 3.5 inches by an A4 length. Now, I didn't score it, I just folded it butt up to your score board or your trimmer with the arm folded, so you've got something to butt up against along the length of the cardstock, and then make sure that that is even. And I just simply ran my bone folder across that section there to fold it in half, and then rotate it so that the fold is at the top, and then I bent that card back, married it up with the scoreboard, made sure it was all straight, and then again use my bone folder to run it across, and you repeat for the other side. Then for your Misty Moonlight layers, you need 4 pieces cut at 3 7/8 by 5 5/8, and in metric that's 9.8 by 14.3 centimeters. Now normally I would leave this at the end to glue it all together, but because there are so many pieces, what I suggest is that you, as you go along, you glue them to your cardstock. So remember, your front and your back You need 2 pieces per card front, 2 pieces per card back in Misty Moonlight. Now you need 4 pieces of Night of Navy, and these have been cut at 3 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. In metric, that's 9.5 by 14 centimetres. Reserve 2 of the Night of Navy for embossing with, so we'll set that aside. And then we need, bring our cardstock back, and this is for the front of the card. And this one is for the back of the card. Flip that over so that the 2 inside of the front and back card is facing up. And then we'll go and emboss these. Now this is a standard embossing folder, so you need the platform 1 and 2 platform 3s. So there's your platform 1, platform 3, followed by your embossing folder with the cardstock inside, and then another platform 3, and you're ready to run it through the machine. So I'll do that off camera for both pieces. And before I glue them to the cardstock, I'm just going to run the craft ink pad over the snowflakes. Bring back my card front and card back. Now that's the back, that's the front. This is the inside of the back and front of the card. 2 pieces of Whisper White, which is layer 3, for the front and back of the card, and this measures 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. Metric, that's 8.9 by 13.3 centimetres. I'm going to set one piece aside for the back of the card, and I'm going to use my Seaside Spray ink to stamp a couple of snowflakes. You stamp first before you emboss. This is for the front of the card. So platform 1 again, platform 3, your embossing folder. This is a standard embossing folder. Cardstock inside, followed by another platform 3, and I'm ready to run it through the machine. Glue this to the card front. Take my glimmer paper, and I'm just going to cut freehand. Grab a 1/2 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to punch a hole toward the edge and the bottom of the hill so that I can put my dimensionals through that slot. Glimmer paper is very difficult to adhere to another glimmer paper surface, so this is just a trick. Put some dimensionals on the bottom of this piece here. Marry it up with that line, then put a double stack. The second layer so that I can pop this one on top. Take the back piece, Seaside Spray ink, and I'm going to stamp the back of the card. So I'll need this stamp, stamp at the bottom, stamp the sentiment, stamp some snowflakes there. I can glue that to the back of the card. We'll set those aside now. I'm going to ink up the sentiment on here at the end in Night of Navy. stamp that, and the rest in Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Just trim that off, trim off my greeting, cut a mat around that with some scraps of Misty Moonlight. Set that aside while I do the colouring. I wanted the reindeer to have a red nose, so I'm just going to colour his nose red with the Stamp and Write marker. Stamp on there and then cut that out. Get a glue dot to attach his nose to. I'm going to colour this before I fussy cut them. I'm going to do the polar bear with just a hint of Seaside Spray, the sleigh with the real red combo, and the runners with Seaside Spray, the bunny in crumb cake, and the same with the reindeer and his bow in red. I'll speed this up. Now I'll go off camera and fussy cut these, otherwise it will make the video too long. So there are my fussy cut pieces. Pop that onto my card front so that I don't lose them. If I insert that in here, that means I need a double stack of dimensionals. So let's put that there. Need some more around here. I'm just going to trim this down a little bit because there's too much of it. Do this by eye, cut it in the middle, and then from each end cut toward the middle of that cut to create a flag end. I think I'll just glue it on. Bring my trimmer in. I deliberately didn't give you an exact measurement of this cardstock because I didn't know how big it was going to be myself. So I'm just doing it by eye, leaving a little border all round. One end up on a dimensional, curl that up and stick that on my card, and then glue the other end down like so. Pop my blue adhesive gems on. That's the card front done. I'm going to set that aside, and now we can start thinking about this section here. You take your W section and then just measure 1 7/8. Okay. Flip the card over and measure 1 7/8 for the other end. Right, and I'm going to use my little mini cutter because I find that more accurate. Now I've taken the finger guard off there. You do it at your own peril, but I just find that I can fine tune it exactly where I want. So do be careful. I won't advocate it, and you do it at your own risk. Okay, so that's one. And then you want to cut in the other direction. So where's my mark? That's my mark, and I want to cut right where the fold is here. And then if you've done it correctly, then both the halves that you cut off should be absolutely identical. First layer for the matte layers is Misty Moonlight, and for the end panels it's a different measurement from the center panels. So the end panels in inches is 2 3/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. In metric that's 7 centimeters by 8.2 centimeters. The center panels in Misty Moonlight is 2 3/4 inches by 3 3/8 inches. In metric that's 7 centimeters by 8.6 centimeters. The Night of Navy layers, the two end panels are 2 1/2 by 2 7/8 inches. In metric that's 6.4 by 7.3 centimeters. The center panels in Night of Navy is 2 1/2 by 3 1/8, that's 6.4 by 7.9 centimeters. You'll find that the two end panels for here and here are shorter than the two center panels. So we're going to tackle the two end panels first. You need to measure 1/4 of an inch up. So that's there. Marked 1/4 of an inch here on the left panel and 1/4 of an inch there on the end panel. Offer that up so that it's in line, the bottom of this is in line with that mark that you've made, and the top of that is in line with the angle of your cut line. Just hold on tight to it and then just cut along there. Okay, so then that will give you the perfect angle all round, and then you do the same for this side. Offer it up to the angle. Make sure that's at the top. The top of that paper is in line with that angle there. Then you cut it off at an angle. Then you should have the same angle when you're making your matte layer. Then you want to rub off the pencil marks. You do the same for here. You just measure 1/4 inch. So you could do it on your grid paper. 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch down here. Now don't glue them yet because you need to cut their diagonals. So again what you do is you offer that up and align it with the 1/4 inch mark there. Align that end with the top of that cut and then cut across. Okay. And do the same for this piece. Now you want to mark 1/4 inch for on the Night of Navy as well. Same for this. So now you're ready to cut your designer series paper. I'll do that one there, then that's the middle, that's the other side, and that's that side. So now we have to adjust the width of the designer series paper. I made a mistake with that measurement. It should be 2 1/4. I've aligned it with that 2 1/4 inch mark, and I'm just going to have to make a mark here and cut it differently. Feels like Frosty SP. These have been cut at 2 7/8 by 2 1/4 inches. In metric, that's 7.3 centimeters by 5.7, and those go on top. Bring our bridge section in and then glue that onto the bridge section. Now we can attach the inverted W bridge section, so you have your insides facing you, and fold that in and apply adhesive and center that on your card. Hold it there while it bonds. Apply adhesive to the back and then pop that on top so that it is level. Hold it there for a minute while it bonds, and there you have your fold. I'm just going to put adhesive on the reindeer and stick him here. I'm going to pop a dimensional on the polar bear, insert him just in there, sliding down the slope. Just one last bit of stamping to do. I'm just going to wing it, glue that onto my piece of cardstock and then trim it down by eye. Pop that up on dimensionals, just to give it a bit of balance, because it's so thick down here but not up here. Pop that on in line with that bit here. Now, as you can see, it's quite a bulky card and it does take quite a bit of doing. It's not the most economical to post. It's on the thick side, so I just hand deliver that, or make it for someone special. There you go, Rosie. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and come back for the next episode in my Countdown to Christmas series next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.